Hey guys, back again. Okay, so continuing our theme on anger, I just wanted to continue on about that. So, how did you go with the last video? What were you taught about anger? What did that reveal to you about how you cope with anger? What were you taught? What did you believe? What have you taken on board? What were you conditioned, programmed, groomed to understand about anger? Because that plays a huge part in how you process your anger. There's nothing wrong with anger. Anger is one of the most healthy feelings you can experience. Anger helps you connect with the fact that you're being used, abused, walked over, taken advantage of. And if you are not connected to your anger, how do you even know that's happening? Especially if you've been brought up in an environment where you've seen anger be done and it's almost like you had to put up with it. It's just like that conditioning we get. Well, this is just normal. It's normal for someone to fly off the handle or react with rage, or you might not like it, but you just kind of feel like, well, this is normal, isn't it? Isn't this what people do? So it's very important that you unpack what you've been taught, what you believe, and how you feel about anger. You might hate it because you saw it being done in a very negative way. Maybe you saw somebody get hurt. Maybe you saw someone get abused. So anger brings up a lot of fear. Anger brings up a lot of disconnection, a lot of, oh my God, this is the worst thing that's ever. Fear will disconnect you and put you in fight, flight, or freeze. And so that's very important to understand the impact anger has on you. Now, no one likes anger. I don't like anger. I was an angry person, but doesn't mean you like it. I hated it, and if I see someone get angry, I get scared. I think that's a normal response, and I think that's why anger works sometimes. Angry people are trying to sometimes protect themselves, push you away, and they want you to be scared, so you leave them alone, go away, or do what you want them to do. So if you're in fear, you're more likely to do what they want you to do. And so toe the line so they can control you. This is why people use fear and, punishment. And this is hard if you have seen in your experiences parents who can wipe people off. It's like if someone doesn't toe the line or do what they want them to do, they will just, that's it, they're gone. Maybe it's even happened to your siblings. Maybe you've seen your siblings try and stand up to them or have a voice or speak their truth or, see them for who they really are, and mum, dad, or whoever just like, nah, that's it, out, I never want to see you again. And so that sense of abandonment, oh God, if I step up, if I have a voice, if I don't just put up with their bad behavior, they're going to get rid of me too. And so there's that terrified little person inside of you, terrified of being abandoned by these godlike figures in your life. And so that's the fear that you have to, I suppose, face. The fear of rejection or abandonment, because what's the price you're paying to be in that relationship, to be with these people? And I know it's terrifying. And this is why I think it's hard, when you hear someone who's really struggling with a parent who's built up a lot of anger or frustration or resentment or whatever it is. And I would never tell anyone what to do in terms of what they need to do with that relationship. All I'm going to do is help build you up so you can be the adult that can make adult choices in their life. And sometimes when we're triggered by fear, we go into almost a childlike state of being where we're terrified and frightened of kind of getting our needs met, or don't even know how to get our needs met, don't even know what that looks like. We're just sort of pacifying the angry person around us and just putting up with their bad behavior. And we can see that, we can see that so clearly, how we've all been driven by fear, and because they want to be able to control the masses. So anger is a wonderful emotion that a lot of people have learned to repress, deny, and avoid, and that's because of what they've been taught, but also their conditioning, also their whole, it's in their DNA. A lot of us are very, repressed from eons. And so it's about coming into that space where you can acknowledge the angry feelings, make space for them, stop being so scared by them. A lot of the time I'll do an exercise where I get the person to project the anger outside of them. And it's really interesting because I asked them, well, what do you see? So if you projected that angry part of you out of you, what would you see? What would that anger look like to you? Is it huge? Is it terrifying? Has it got horns? Is it got sharp teeth? Is it just like a ball of black goo? What does it look like? Projecting it out of you and really looking at it. And then as you create this kind of objectified version of the angry part of you, you can really look. And I make clients, I say, right, now look at it. Look at that angry part of you. Look at it and tell me what you see. And of course, a lot of the time, if you keep looking, you see, that's the trouble. Here's fear. Here's the fear, right? And you don't want to look at the fear. No, here's you, fearful. And you don't want to look at the anger. The anger's here, right? So you want to run from it. This is what we got taught. Run from it, repress it, deny it, avoid it. So you're running from it, but actually as you walk away, it just gets bigger. As you turn around and you face it, it actually reveals itself to you. And underneath all that anger, and I know this from my experience, underneath all that anger was a terrified little girl. And this is why you have to face your fear and get brave and put your big boots on and be courageous and look at that fear and see it for what it really is. Because it's a lot of the time it's a repressed part of you. It's a part that was taught, no, I won't love you if you reveal yourself or you express yourself. And so everyone's complex and everyone's different and everyone has a different experience. So it's hard to talk about this in a very, general way. This is just kind of maybe going to give you some idea of maybe if I turned around and looked at that fear, that anger, what would it look like? And you'll realize that you're terrified sometimes of your own anger because it feels out of control, it feels big, it feels overwhelming, it feels huge. And this is why you have to turn around and face it. Face your anger. And you have to be curious and learn all you can about it, because what is this anger revealing to you? Now, it can be out there, like maximizers are the people that express it more verbally, and are usually more aggressive, more angry, more volatile. But then there's the repressors who turn it inwards, and generally they look perhaps more repressed, depressed, and perhaps suicidality. That's how it'll come out. Anger turned inwards. It's kind of a violence that and if you're not doing it that way, you're doing it this way, and that's why repression is not good, because if you turn it inwards, well, I need to die, I need to be punished, I need to take myself out because excuse me. And so facing your anger, looking at it, realizing, when did you create it? What did it learn growing up that it wasn't allowed? It wasn't okay. Like, what are you learning about your anger? So you could ask it a whole bunch of questions. So maybe you can ask it, what are you trying to teach me about me? What happened to this aspect of me? When were you created, and when did you become so afraid to reveal yourself honestly and openly? When did we learn to repress you? When did you start working out of me? Because if it works out of you, sometimes it's helping you get your needs met, helping you give you some space. Well, if you get all angry and upset, everyone leaves you alone. So it kind of works. And so how is anger working for you? How is it not working for you? How is it working if I'm repressing it? What's that doing to me? And so you can ask it, what is your purpose? How are you helping me? How are you not helping me? How are you hindering me? If I were to pay more attention to you, what would you say to me? Ask the anger to speak back. A lot of the time, I think, from my perspective, my anger was angry with me because I wasn't listening to it. I wasn't paying attention to it. I wasn't honoring it or respecting it. And I know why that was, because I was taught that I couldn't. And that's because I needed to survive. And so I couldn't listen to it. I couldn't respect it. I couldn't honor it because it wasn't allowed. But I'm a grown-up now, and my anger is allowed. I've got no parents telling me, be quiet, stop, don't you dare be angry. I've not got that. I'm a much more mature person, as hopefully you are. And so now I can Okay, what's my anger telling me? Well, actually, that person's disrespecting me, walking all over me, hurting me, taking advantage of me, abusing me. Why wouldn't you be angry? Of course. And this is why I think a lot of people struggle and they get stuck. And we always look at people that, why would that person stay in that abusive relationship? And I get it. I totally get it. You know, we've been conditioned very young to kind of put up with a lot of bad behaviour, I think. We don't even see it as bad behaviour. We just see it as normal. We just see it as, oh, well, that's the way it was. And so having a relationship with that aspect of you. Now, if you kept it in the dungeon, because that's what a lot of us do, keep it in the dungeon with the lock and the key and, you know, your foot on its head, then it's about opening that door and just allowing it to come up and having a new relationship with that aspect of you, because that's a part of you. It doesn't want to be stuck in the dungeon. It doesn't want to be repressed, denied, avoided. It wants time, energy. It wants you to hear what they have to say. So once I started listening to my anger, and my anger, do you know what my anger would say to me? You know, we talked about this last week. You know, when you say yes, when you mean no. My anger would say, Stella, why you keep saying yes when you actually mean no? And of course, that anger would grow every time I did that. I'd grow more and more resentful. I'd grow more and more angry. And I was responsible for that because I kept saying no, because I was a chronic people pleaser. And it wasn't till I said, no, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. Because every time I do that, I create this more anger inside of me. I keep repressing. And this is why when you get to a certain point, it just flies out sideways and there's no reining it back in. That's what rageaholicism, being a rageaholic is. It's about repress until you can't do it anymore. And then it just shoots out, and now it's kind of got a life of its own. It's big and it's powerful, and it's like, I ain't able to temper that. And so it's about bringing it up from wherever you've put it, or realizing that it is inside of you. And because I did both, I repressed it and expressed it at times, where a lot of people never express it. They just keep it really locked up. They're quite calm, and they're not even connected to that part of themselves, and which I think is actually not healthy, because I think every emotion is a good emotion. You might call it good or bad, but they're all good. Anger, frustration, annoyance, they tell you something. It's just that you're not listening to it. And that's what we have to wake up to. Am I going to start listening to myself? Am I going to come through for myself? I'm going to allow myself. What is this teaching me? What is it telling me? What is it trying to help me with? And until we spend some time with it and acknowledge it and let it speak to us and maybe help us uncover some stuff, we're never going to know. What have you got to lose? And what are you afraid of? What would stop you from doing this? Objectifying it, putting it out there, having a dialogue with it, talking to it, listening to it, letting it speak back to you, that angry part of you. And I bet you, just like mine was, there's just a very scared little girl underneath all that anger who's just trying to survive and cope and get her needs met any way she knows how. And so I challenge you to engage with that aspect of you. You can either do it in an imaginary way, or maybe you can do it pen and paper. So your dominant hand, you write the question, your non-dominant hand, you write the answer. So anger, what are you trying to reveal to me? I'm trying to keep you safe. So anger, how are you helping me? I'm trying to stop you. I'm trying to wake you up from not doing what you keep doing, which is saying yes when you mean no. You know, ask it some interesting questions. Start to dialogue with it, either on paper, in an imaginary way. Obviously, it takes a bit of practice to do this, and I know it's not easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. So give it a go. What have you got to lose? Who knows what it might reveal? Be curious, stay curious, be compassionate, be kind. Don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. You know, like, stop doing that to yourself. Anyway, all for now. Back next time. Bye.